Yo, what's up guys? So I was thinking about what to make a video on next, and I was thinking real hard about some of the games I used to play as a kid, and I remember playing this graffiti game called Getting Up Contents Under Pressure, and a wave of nostalgia just hit me. Bro, this game was so special to me. You play as a graffiti artist in a city, spray painting buildings and whooping ass, and I was like, this would be perfect to talk about, so that's what I'm gonna do. So let's break down why this game is so awesome. Before we start though, in the gameplay footage there's these black boxes that outline the characters. I think it has something to do with the emulator I was using. I don't know how to fix that, so we're just gonna have to roll with it. Okay, so what is this game even about? Well, you play as a graffiti artist named Trane, who I'll talk more about later in the video. The game takes place in a city called New Radius, which is basically like a fictional New York, but like the worst parts. So there's lots of criminal activity going on and poverty. Everything is super dirty, dark, and grimy, and almost every wall is filled with graffiti art. The graffiti laws in New Radius are pretty extreme. Almost all forms of art are banned, and there's law enforcement called the CCK, which are everywhere throughout the city, trying to stop anyone from expressing themselves, like to the extreme of beating the out of anyone who was caught spray painting, even going as far as murder. So this place is pretty corrupt, and now the mayor of New Radius is working to remove and clean up all of the graffiti art. And he put up a new curfew, so everyone's pissed. Obviously, that's not gonna stop anyone, and people of the city have started protesting. New Radius is a perfect setting for the game, and I think the devs did a great job making it. The city feels alive, like it's always moving. They perfectly replicated the noise of big cities, like the sounds of police sirens, car alarms, trains and helicopters, dogs barking, and people arguing.
I'm tired of coming home with this shit. Clean this shit up. I'm clean this motherfucking house. I'm tired of telling you this stuff. Hey, woman, do you come back here, woman? Hey, come here. Let me tell you one thing. What? I'm tired of that. I'm telling him to quit looking at you. Look, if he look at you one more time, like I'm telling you, you ain't got to tell me nothing. Like I'm tired of woman, quit. Don't raise your voice in my house. Don't you raise your voice in my house. What? You love me? Well, I love you too. Oh, we supposed to love each other. I thought that's what we was here for. Well, okay, well, I tell you what, you call the doctor, because I ain't going to no doctor, man. I ain't going. I'm tired. I'm tired of talking to you about it. And I'm going. And put them damn kids up. And shut that damn dog up.
Getting Up has some real style. The few 3D rendered cutscenes we get are fantastic to watch, with some really creative shots. Everything is so colorful and dreamy. The editing is very creative too, like using the aspect ratio to pop things in and out of frame, distorting and bending the visuals to express the scene. Like I said, it's always nice to watch them. I just wish there were a little bit more than the few that we get. Most of the cutscenes are just in-game footage. Besides that, the devs went all out with the look of the game, like with the main menu. The subway theme is awesome. It has this realistic look to it. Selecting different options quickly brings you back and forth to different parts of the station, and as a kid I remembered how dark and eerie it was to navigate this menu. The amount of effort and details put into stuff like this matters. There's even an iPod section for the music. Look at the iPod, man. That's a huge throwback. Getting Up has a dope ass soundtrack too, composed by RJD2, who made tons of background music for the game. Getting Up also has a decent amount of licensed tracks from the 90s and 2000s, with hip-hop classics from the likes of Biggie Smalls, Mobb Deep, Rakim, Talib Kweli, and many more. There's even some rock and roll tracks too, like Mountain Song by Jane's Addiction. I'd be screaming the mountain line every time it comes on. Bro, I love this soundtrack. I can tell they put a ton of love and thought into the presentation. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, this game was created by Mark Echo. You've probably seen or have worn some of his clothing. He's an artist, a fashion designer, and in the late 2000s, a video game maker. There's a documentary on YouTube about the making of Getting Up, which is a really good watch if you're interested in this game. And there's also a video by Mr. Hammers, who goes into more detail about the development of the game. Let's talk about our main character, Trane. He's a confident, up-and-coming graffiti artist with nothing to lose. Trane is a very ambitious guy. His motivations are something I can get behind. He wants to make a name for himself and become a legend, while also using his skills to expose the truth, the corruption of New Radius. He's a likable character. He's played by Talib Kweli, and I think his performance is excellent. He plays Trane as a confident and focused kid, but also someone who's humorous and witty. He has some hilarious one-liners, and some of his cutscenes have me laughing pretty hard.
You gotta be kidding me. Look at Tweedledee and Tweedle fat like a motherfucker. That was Gabe's girl, Tina. I didn't know that at the time. Otherwise, I might have thought twice about wanting to hit it.
You must be Trane.
Maybe. I know who you are. Karen Light, right? Feel the energy with Karen Light.
His humor is also expressed through his artwork, where he mocks and disses a rival artist and the CCK, using his art to send a message. Trane being a younger artist, he can be a little naive, getting himself into some bad situations, but some people he meets throughout the game see this and provide advice, pulling him to the side to show him how things work, like teaching him different paint techniques and just how to be respectful to his graffiti artists that came before him. Trane doesn't know everything about the world of graffiti, so it's cool to see him learn as we progress throughout the game. Alright, let's get into the gameplay. Getting Up is a third-person, beat-em-up, action-adventure art game. Yeah, there's a lot going on. Let's start off with the main thing, the graffiti. As expected, throughout the game you'll be painting a lot. Levels play out with you exploring different areas. Subways, back alleys, tight spaces, run-down buildings, and getting up high on ledges and dangerous spots to throw up a dope piece. The locations are varied. You'll be in different parts of the city, mostly outside, but they do a good job of making each level look and play different from each other. When you're ready to paint, the piece will be outlined in white, and before tagging, you can change the tag or make it bigger. The goal is to paint within the lines, just like back in school. Each tag looks great too. Each one is really creative. I love the designs. Painting at first is a little slow, but eventually you unlock the ability to spray paint faster. And after that, there's really no point of using the slower method. You just have to be careful not to spray too long on one spot, or else the paint will drip on the piece. You might think throughout your playthrough that the painting could become repetitive, but like I said, there's tons of different tags to choose from, and when you progress throughout the game, you unlock more art to paint, and different techniques to execute them, like stencils, stickers, markers, wheat paste, and more. And a lot of the spots that you paint at require you to do some dangerous platforming, which I think makes it way more satisfying when you finally get there. I bet it feels like that for a real graffiti artist as well. Anyways, some of these spots are crazy, man. Trane will paint pretty much anywhere, like on the side of a moving train, rappel down the side of a building, on one of those aerial trams. Any tall structure, he will climb that mother to get his art up. It really shows how dedicated he really is. Trane is super athletic. He jumps super high. I was messing around with the jumps, and I found this glitch that makes him move super fast if you time the jumps right. Overall, the painting is very fun in this game. I think they nailed it. Next is the combat. You'll be fighting a lot of different people in this game, first of which are the Vandals of New Radius, a gang of graffiti artists who will beat the out of anyone who's on their turf, or isn't a part of their crew.
Oh shit!
Ah! God damn! Toy ass biatch!
Dude, the fighting in this game is hard. The earlier enemies are a little easier, but the later you get into the game, the harder the fights get, especially against the CCK. You're gonna get up in this game. Look at this video of me getting jumped. People are gonna hit you with wrestling moves, you're gonna get curb stomped, stuff thrown at you, and shot at a lot. Enemies have big health bars, and each encounter can take minutes, especially if there's more than one person. They can get really frustrating at times. I hate when enemies block your attacks. It feels like whenever you try to throw a punch in a dream, and it does like 0 damage. They've slightly countered this by giving you a bunch of different techniques to fight. You can put together some cool combos. You can do grab attacks and throw people.
Oh my god! Oh Jesus!
Pick up items to use as melee weapons, and even use your spray can as a flamethrower. So the combat is a little complex, I give him that. I like how Trane and his opponents taunt each other while they're fighting. You can hear the hatred in their voices.
Hope this don't fuck up your makeup, little girl.
Time to meet my flashlight, bitch!
I'm gonna break this baton off in your ass!
Let me give you a little push in the right direction.
It's also funny as hell that the tutorials themselves are like instigating you. The game is like, yeah, there you go. Teach this punk ass not to mess with you. And some of the enemies you fight are just city workers, which is hilarious.
Hey, ain't nothing stopping you but common sense, pal.
Everyone is so hostile. I guess it does show how dangerous New Radius really is. But not everyone Trane meets is out to murder him. There's a whole cast of interesting side characters, voiced by legends like Charlie Murphy, Brittany Murphy, The RZA, Adam West, even P. Diddy's weird ass. The list goes on. And there's a bunch of real life graffiti legends in the game that Trane meets. Each one gives him advice about his work and teach him some graffiti history. Trane is a student of the game, and he asks each of them to sign his black book.
Looks like I'm the first one in here besides yourself. Listen, let me give you some tips on filling this book up. To be written in history, you have to know your history and always respect the legend. When you see a legend piece on the street, underground, wherever, take a flick of it and keep it in your black book. This is your Bible. If you're lucky, collect their tags and maybe you can learn something.
On each level, you can find the artist's work and take a picture of it. It's an awesome way of showing love to the community.
Got it!
And I think that's one thing this game is really about, the culture. I don't know every single artist, but that's just another reason for this game to exist. To show off pieces of history through a different form of media. I got mad respect for Mark Echo for using his success to tell a story like this. A story that closely resembles real life, not wanting to be held down by limitations. Fighting for the right to freely express yourself, wanting to leave your legacy on the world. Something a lot of artists want to do. This game is the definition of getting up. This game isn't perfect, but I definitely think more people should know about it. It needs a sequel or something. Mark Echo has stated for over a decade that he wants to make another game, but all we can do now is hope that one day it actually happens. And in 2022, he announced a film adaptation was in the works, so at least we got something on the way. This game is a classic in my eyes. It's got great art, music, and a solid story. Anyways, that's the end of the video. I had a good time making this. Subscribe if you enjoyed. I upload a new video like every week, so be on the lookout for new stuff. I love y'all, thank you for watching, see you in the next video.
Well, 2 days ago he was doing his soapbox thing. Mayor Sung has the anti-Midas touch because everything he touches turns to shit. Instead of calling him Mayor Sung, we should call him Mayor Dung. You know, blah, blah, blah. Man, that's classic Grimes. Huh. Yeah, well, it wasn't long before 3CCK jumped him in the underground last night. Oh my god. Hey, guy, you're gonna, be here and enjoy the fire, you gotta earn your keep. What the hell? Yeah, dig up some stuff to keep the fire going. Like where? Anywhere and anything, just go, just get something. I don't see what I don't know, my back.